Hi, Wanda. Thank you for sprinkling. I'm just getting the comments pulled up here on my computer so I can see it better. And apparently I have a little crybaby here. And hold on a second. Someone is trying to call. For some reason, it didn't work with the do not disturb. Okay, at least it didn't mess up the video. So that's all that matters. Here, let me let little Squeaky here out because she is gonna squeal in 2 seconds, I can tell. Okay, go poop head. Hey, Charles. I'm live. Yeah. Come on, Callie. Why not? Okay. Got rid of one dog and the other one wanted to come and then she didn't want to come. And are you sending her in? Not Bindi, but I'll take Callie.
She's jealous.
I got a different buddy tonight. Ah! Stop. Wait. You don't do that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this one's got a wild tongue on her. Okay. Stop it. So for anyone who's new, I am, oh, it's covered. It's right here where the Band-Aid is. That's from my carpal tunnel surgery, but it was really close to the carpal tunnel. But for anyone who doesn't know, I am Tanya with Crafting Cousins Creations. Usually on Thursdays evenings, my cousin Ty goes live with me, but she said that she needed to skip it for this week. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and go live. Anyways, ooh, I almost need to get that away from my glue tool. Don't want to melt the plastic. But anyways, this little fart here is Callie. Usually I have a white dog behind me, but she heard my brother roaming around and decided she wanted to go out there instead. Yeah, huh. Ornery fart. And this one started to come, and she likes to tease me, so my brother just handed her to me. You're not getting on the table. I don't know who you think you are. Mm-mm. Not happening. I used to work for a call center, and we started working from home, and there were a few times that Callie here would sit on my desk while I was working. She does pretty good at sitting there and not, trying to get down or hurt herself or anything, but hey, I can't see over your head. Your tongue is like a little too wild. Yeah. Yeah. People are going to think you're a nut. Uh-huh. Yeah, they are. Okay, now you're eating my hair. She likes to show off. Anyways, so I did a little prepping yesterday before I hurt myself. Let me grab one that's not have anything done to it. So, like Sandra from Country Family Roots was talking about earlier on her live, the truck that she used in the craft came from Walmart, just like this one did. They do have some smaller ones too. But or not smaller these, but smaller wood cutouts. They have like different shapes and I think like hearts and stuff, and I think they even have, depending on your Walmart, they will have like Some have animal cutouts, some have ones that are already, painted or whatever, or however they do it. But there's just a big variety of different ones that they have. Sometimes they're not in the same aisle, but they're still in that general section. But I went ahead and I used my heat tool and heated this off and this off. That came off, fine. That's not what I injured myself doing. I injured myself preparing for the craft that I'm going to do in the event on Sunday. Move that out of my way so it doesn't fall. But I was trying to get some words off of something and that I wanted to use as a base so I could prep it and paint it. And oh darn it. Hold on. I don't know why it all of a sudden decided to have sound. Huh, that's weird. Anyways, so I'm gonna use this tonight. I took nautical rope and I just cut it in strips. I did want to do this live because I didn't use hot glue. I used the Titan Bond, or not Titan Bond, Tite Bond, quick and thick. You can get it at Walmart or Amazon. And so all I did was I took I think this was the thinner, this is the thinner nautical rope that they sell at Dollar Tree. And all I did was I went and I cut strips and I covered part of it a little bit at a time so it didn't dry with that Tite Bond. And then I laid the strips down. And then when I was done doing that, when I got to this middle part, I just did a circle. And then when I was all done, I put another circle on top. But then I took a piece of nautical rope and just went around that outside. And then what I will do is I will paint the bees. One of them I did break the antenna, but I was able to glue it back with no problem. But I'm going to go ahead and paint these, and then we'll glue them back on top of that. And then I have these Farm Fresh signs that came from Dollar Tree, I think. I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they came from Dollar Tree. I have two of these already done from before. One, looking at them, one's probably done in antique wax stained, and the other stained with burnt umber. Did those last year just to have them done, and then I have this plain one because I haven't decided what color I want them. But I figured, well, I have those already ready, so I'll put them out in case I want to use them. And then I know I do a lot of pizza pan crafts, but hey, you can mix so many different things with it. But I have different fabric and some oh my goodness, I can't think of the word for it. Burlap. Of course, after I pull it out. I do have this burlap that has like honeycombs on it. I also have a bee one. I do have some flowers too. And I have some flower ones. And then I have this bee fabric that'll probably save for a different craft. I mean, it probably wouldn't look bad on it, but okay. And then I do have some ribbon and stuff. And then I do have this fabric also that's honeycomb. So I have to decide which one of those I want to use. little doggy behind me who is actually giving me a little more room than the other dog. And then I will be, the event that I'm going to be in with Cheryl's Farmhouse DIY and Sandra with Country Family Roots. Had to think for a minute there. That will be on Sunday. It starts pretty early in the morning. It's an all-day event. I think there's one person before Sandra, and then I'm directly after Sandra. I got my bee stuff mixed up with my patriotic stuff here at the moment. Okay. I may just have to cut a new one because I don't see. It was here, but I don't know. My cat got in here again the other day and knocked stuff over, so she may have knocked it over. She may have even knocked it behind my desk for all I know. Kind of curious how much stuff I'll find back there. So, I will probably find it as soon as I get off here. I can guarantee you. Just wanted to check one other spot. I found an old pair of jeans that I had and I cut the pockets out of them. And so I think I had it with that because I did it at the same time. And like I said, I'm not sure what I did with it. But it's kind of leaning towards maybe doing that. I don't know if you can see it well. So we have either that and then put like the beehive somewhere over here. Or I do have, which sunflowers do look good with bees. I have to kind of hold it together to see what it would look like. Because when I originally cut that one piece out, I wasn't even planning on doing the beehive with it. I didn't think of it until afterwards, so. So then I do have this one. Could go like that. I am crooked, there we go. Or I have that one. So let me see here. You know, I think I'm gonna go with the honeycomb because I'm not gonna use sunflowers to do it. So I think I will do that instead. So don't know how many of you have ever tried doing fabric in the middle for a pizza pan, but all you need to do is turn your fabric over the other way, put your splatter screen, or honestly, if you don't have a splatter screen, what you can also do is be a little harder to do, but you could sit the pizza pan on there and trace the back part of this pan, but then when you go to cut it out, cut it a little further in, side on the inside part of the line that you drew. And then just keep trimming around it until you get it to fit right. If you don't have one of these or don't want to get one, that is an alternative. Permanent marker, where did you go? There you go. Wait, is that it? Yeah. And I take a marker. I'm going to go as close to the edge so I don't waste any. Because I don't know if I'm going to find any more of this or not. It's been like hit and miss whether I actually find it when I go into a Dollar Tree or not. So then I have that outline on the back. So all I'm going to do is trim it out. Cut it out, whatever. Yeah, I wanted to do as much prep work as I could for the event on Sunday. Since it is only 45 minutes, I want to make sure that the way I figure it is, okay, if I get it done ahead of time, that's fine. I have several like little quick crafts that I could throw in if I needed to. So that would work. I just want to make sure that I get done in the amount of time that I have. Yeah, when I was trying to prep that, I honestly should have just waited and asked my brother to help me or my cousin, one or the other. Because the last time I tried to do that, same thing happened. I'm very clumsy. I'm just glad that, since it did happen, that it happened when I wasn't live. Because I was about to go live that day, yesterday, right before it happened. I had actually just prepped the beehive when that happened. Yeah, wearing black and messing with burlap is, at the same time, is not the best idea. Okay, so that is cut out. Now what I'm going to do, get rid of that. I'm going to take this. Now, since that's burlap, and you will see through it, I am going to paint this. I am going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew. Kind of like Sandra said, that is also like her. It's one of my favorite colors. I use it for just about everything, it seems like. And I am going to paint, well, everything I can use for it, but I am going to paint the entire thing with the cashew. Good evening, Cindy's Creations. How are you doing? I think I'm going to just paint the middle part first and then try it. So the outer part of this, I'm not leaving it this color. I am going to paint it. This is just kind of going to be the base color for that part. Now, if I was going to use the actual fabric and not the, like this fabric, and not the burlap, then I probably would have still painted it because, well, yeah, that is a lighter colored fabric, so you still probably would want to paint it. I know when I held up the burlap to it, I could see the silver of the paint through it. Okay, get that part dry and then I'll finish it. And then we do still have to do this. Now the middle part, it doesn't necessarily matter if it's like, if you do see a little bit of the silver through it, that's not a huge deal. But the outer portion, I do want to make sure I get that covered completely. Yeah, my favorite paint to use is chalk paint. I prefer Waverly chalk paint so far to any other brand that I've tried. Um, the others seem like you have to put more coats of paint on, and it seems like, I don't know, I don't really care for them as much. It kind of sometimes seems like the colors are a little different. Um, but as for the actual colors itself that are my favorite, cashew is definitely one of my favorites. Um, the celery, I had to think what the name was. Celery is another one of my favorites, and actually all the pinks that they have are really pretty too. I love those. It's really hard to pick just like one that would be my favorite, but brands, um, I always like Waverly better. I know some Walmarts don't carry the Waverly brand. I'm not sure what my one Walmart is doing. I live in a really small town, so it's 30 minutes either the way I go to get to a Walmart. One of the Walmarts does not sell Waverly, or they didn't. I'm not entirely sure what they're doing now. They had 6 bottles or so of the small bottles of Waverly, which they never had before. And all of the other brands, the Hello Hobby brand, was all on like a clearance, and there was very little of it left on the shelf. So I don't know if they're like switching to Waverly, and someone just put it out too early or what. But my other Walmart, the other direction, does have Waverly. And you can also order it. I think you can order it on Amazon, but you can also order it from Walmart. And it wouldn't hurt to check your Walmart out, because mine has been having, all of them actually, all 3 around me, have been having clearances on stuff in their art section, craft section. Besides paint, craft sticks have been on sale. Some of them, not all of them. Certain like surfaces and stuff have been on sale. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Okay, that is my last coat of paint on that. For that color, anyways. And then I'm going to take Antique Wax, the Waverly Antique Wax. Hold on. I need to get rid of that thumbprint. I just touched where it was wet, and of course, after I put the paintbrush in the water. That's okay. Yes, it is a little thick on here, so let me get that thinned out a little. You want back up, you little brat? Come here, you want back up? Okay, fine. Why is she on me? I am so glad I have more than one device pulled up, because half of my comments are not showing up on my laptop, but they're showing up on my phone and my tablet. That is weird. Yeah, I noticed that too. Hi, Sandra. I didn't see you. Come on. Hi, Terry. Yeah, moss. Actually, all the greens are really pretty. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating when it does that, Sandra. I didn't get a chance to do that video yet. Well, I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about, Sandra. I don't know if Cheryl said anything to you, but I was going to do a YouTube is not much better, actually, Sandra. They're kind of weird sometimes too. They screw up my church's video quite often. I sent you a link for an article that you want to look at. It's from Facebook. Not really an article, it's just something you want to check out. And uh, I'm going to make a video for you and Cheryl on how you can download your lives and stuff from Facebook. And that way, if you do want to download or upload them to something else, you can. She said her daughter has a computer, so they can do it on that for Cheryl. But I was going to do it yesterday, and then I injured myself. But okay, so for anyone just starting or just popping on, I have this pizza pan, which, darn it, I forgot to. Let me do that really quick, and then I will tell you what I'm doing. So this is a crocodile. Well, it says crocodile too. The handheld ones might be a little easier. I don't know. My cousin bought me this one for because she was making cards, and then she kind of got me into doing cards, and then I got back into doing crafts again. But this will punch through your pizza pans, your your cans for crushed cans, charger plates. I've punched holes through those with them before, and then that way you have the holes to attach a hanger to. Because a regular hole punch is not going to be sturdy enough to do that. Sandra, do you have that Business Suites app for Facebook? If not, that would be a good one to download. A little bigger one. I'm being picky on what brush I want. That one gives you a lot of different options, that app. You can, like, when you post like pictures and stuff, I don't think I'm not sure about videos, but pictures, you can actually post, it lets you manage your post for YouTube, or not YouTube, for Facebook and Instagram at the same time. And it lets you post the same picture to both. And then you can, like, go to each one specifically if you want to, like, customize it. So, like, the flyer for their live on Sunday. I do know my days. I was able to actually post that to Instagram too, and I just typed in the comment or in the post that it, I'll be live on Facebook, but I went ahead and just advertised it on there too. But you can manage both through that app, so it's really nice to have. And you can schedule post ahead of time on there, all that sort of stuff. So it's a really good app to have. Oh, and I forgot to show you guys what I was doing. I'll do that once I get this dry. I don't want to So I want this part to kind of look like wood. And so what I found is if you put cashew paint down and then go over the top of it with the Waverly, then you kind of get more of a wood look. So you can pretty much turn anything, like you can turn wood things to look like metal. You can turn metal things to look like wood. When you do it, you just want to do it like I am, like this. You don't want to go this way, or it doesn't look quite as much like the grain of a piece of wood. I did a live where I made beehive candle holders out of wine glasses, and this is how I did the stems to the wine glass. I made it look like it was like a branch that the beehive was hanging from, and so I did the Okay, I need to quit looking at my computer because I didn't even see that last message of yours, Sandra. Okay. So that is painted. I don't need that for anything else. I will be using a yellow for the bees and black. Keep looking for a big container. But oh yeah, I didn't even put the lid on that. Okay. Cindy, you asked me earlier about my favorite kind of paint. For plain white paint, if I use acrylic, this one's my favorite for acrylic. It's the Deco Art Americana Snow White. I get this one from Hobby Lobby. It's cheaper from Hobby Lobby than anywhere else, but only this color is that cheap. This one here I got for $3.68 or 69 cents. Everywhere else, I've seen them priced as like $6 to $8. So it's a very good deal. Sometimes you get it for $4 something, sometimes for $3. It just depends. What? But like if I want something bright, bright white, I will use that. What? You don't like it? Okay, I won't do it too. Sorry. Oh, don't you get mad at me. Fix your hairdo. Callie, you're fine. You know, my hand actually doesn't even hurt. It hurt when I took a shower because the bandage came off and then it irritated it. But as long as I have a bandage over it, it doesn't seem to bother me. I just have to be really careful with bandages because I'm allergic to everything pretty much. Bandages will actually rip my skin, but it's something I have to do. If you use gauze and code bands, you would have to change it every time you wash your hands. And that can get expensive. But if I use like just the kind that are latex free and I just let it fall off whenever it wants to fall off, then it doesn't seem to bother it as much. But if I actually have to take it off to change it, then it really aggravates it. Okay, that's still a little sticky, so it's not quite dry. This little part is Callie. For anyone who didn't see her at the beginning of the video, being Henri. Yeah, you. She is 11 years, or I think 11 years old. She is a Shih Tzu and Chihuahua mix. She's got an attitude. Yeah, you do. She thinks she's the boss over everyone. Stop. Stop that. Hey, behave. Manners. You do have them. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. On reports. Usually I have Bindi behind me, the white dog, but she heard my brother roaming around and she didn't want me anymore. And so, and with this little poop head. And I do have one other dog. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you have to go down. Oh, Callie! Out of my mouth, monkey! Okay. So, that's how that turned out. Yeah, she's fast. My cousin thinks she can be faster than that dog, but no one is faster than that dog when it comes to her tongue. She is extremely fast and ornery. She just loves going at your face. So this is the burlap, the honeycomb burlap from Dollar Tree. I just used the splatter screen to trace it, and then I cut it out. Then I took this beehive from Walmart, took the bees off. I heated them up with my heat tool and took this. I can't even think of the word, but you know what it is. I took that to peel it off or pry it off. And then I just sanded anything rough down. And then I took the thinner nautical rope, laid down the tight bond, so I didn't use hot glue, but you can use hot glue. And I cut the nautical rope in strips, put them down, did a circle of it around here, and then I put another circle on top at the end. And then just laid these down with that glue. And then at the end, I went around the edge and then did this last part at the top. Then I just let it sit. So I did this yesterday. You can do it with hot glue, but I didn't want to. Sometimes hot glue, when you're doing something like that, will keep it raised up. Sometimes it will dry too quick for me, and so that just was the easiest way since I was not doing it live. So I just prepped that yesterday. Hi, Janice. I'm not sure if I remember seeing you on here before. So what I'm going to do is take some matte Mod Podge. Okay, so this came from Amazon. It is a very good deal. If you buy the regular, I don't know, bottles like this size, if you add up how much a couple of these cost compared to buying this is a much better deal. This will last me a very, very, very long time. Maybe. But I love this size. I only use the matte Mod Podge. But I go through it. I make a lot of things with Mod Podge, so okay, that's nice to know. Yeah, I'm in Eastern Oregon. Yeah, that's a lot of Mod Podge. I can always post a link because, you know, There's a lot, but it does last, and it's a lot more reasonable price than if you go through a lot of Mod Podge. Then that would be beneficial to have. Okay, friend of Cheryl's. Yeah, it's funny. I found Sandra, Country Family Roots, by watching Country Cowbell. I found Country Cowbell by watching Crafting with Me. And then I found Cheryl by watching Sandra. So it's like, we kind of all seems like started from watching Crafting with Me. Her truck was adorable. I'm gonna probably need more Mod Podge than this because that is burlap, but I want to make sure I don't have too much. And this, I don't know if I said, but this was just one of the Dollar Tree pizza pans. And if you don't want it to look like a pizza pan, I don't even know if someone would guess if they didn't know, if they weren't like into actually making crafts. I don't know if they would actually notice or not, but you could always paint the back in cashew as well, and then just have it all finished. Or if you wanted it completely finished, you could paint it in cashew and then doing the antique wax like I did around the edge. So you could do that as well. Either way works. Okay. Yeah, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. We're always happy to help. And even if you have a question about something you're working on or something you're just curious about and we're not doing that craft, I'm sure Cheryl and Sandra both feels the same way. We're more than happy to answer their questions then too. So this, I may have to add more Mod Podge in some spots. And I will have to Mod Podge over the top. More than likely. Mod Podge is, or not Mod Podge. Burlap, when you're doing it like this, is different than, I mean, you could glue it too, but then you're going to have glue seeping through, like hot glue. But Mod Podging burlap is different than Mod Podging fabric or anything like that because it is so thick and it does have the holes. So it can definitely be a little more difficult. In worst case, if it doesn't go down like I'm wanting, all I have to do is dry it and take my iron over the top. Come on. And that's the piece of hair, apparently, of mine that wanted to get in it. It would have technically been easier to just do the actual fabric, but I like doing it this way too. Gotta go eat dinner with the family, but I can't see how it turns out. Bee crafts are so fun. Yeah, I like doing the bee crafts too. Thanks for stopping in. I think I'm pretty sure I'm scheduled to go live after you on Sunday. That's gonna be so much fun. I have never done an event before, so I'm really looking forward to it. So once you get it down, you can go over it and just pat it in certain spots. That's one reason why I like one of these or a pouncer. And then that will help get it stuck down more. Don't worry if you get kind of some of these loose pieces. You're just going to have to trim them off. Because this is burlap, that tends to happen. And sometimes you can have that happen with fabric too, depending on the fabric. Not too worried about the edges because I am going to go around it with some nautical rope to finish that part off. This is my second time using this burlap and Mod Podging it down like I usually do fabric. The first time was another bee craft, also with one of these, but we painted it instead of doing it that way. I did it with my cousin. And instead we had this rectangle shaped board that it was a sign from Hobby Lobby. And we took it and we just like some of those frames you can take it and hold onto the frame in your hand and push the inside part out, the back piece. And then that way you can, like Mod Podge directly onto the backing instead of having to try and cut inside of it and get it to fit. And then we just took it off, took the backing, Mod Podged it, and then you just glue it, staple it, nail it, whatever, back together, and it works perfect. And I just want to make sure that this is down really good because I'm going to be putting Jenga blocks behind the beehive to hold it in place and let it stand up a little. And I don't want it pulling, like getting a hold of a piece of loose burlap and pulling it up. So I want to make sure this is going to stay down and not move. Now, if you're doing just regular fabric, you could probably get away with maybe using just like a spray-on adhesive or something like that, but I always prefer Mod Podge to anything else. I can't remember how much that big thing of Mod Podge is, but I know it's not horribly expensive and it's a good deal. My brother actually bought that for me for my birthday. I'm just going through it so much. That helps. You okay, Callie? You're making awful noises. You choking on spit? Poor pup. really irritated that I won't let her sit on the table, but I gotta learn one of these times that she doesn't always get what she wants. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and dry this. And the Mod Podge will dry clear. And we have to make sure it's completely dry before we do any gluing because gluing any of this on because you will have an issue with it not sticking. Charlotte, I've been making the canning lid flowers with my tails. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. For a second, I had to think. I bet that's cute. So we do have a group. And if anyone ever has trouble finding it, I'll post the link later. But if anyone ever has problems finding it, just feel free to send me a message if you want to join it. It's just basically a group where you can share any pictures of any crafts that you've made, or if you have like a crafter that you were watching their video and you want to share their live, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Or if you yourself have a page and want to show your lives on there or your craft, that's fine. Yeah, I can see how that would be relaxing. Right? Almost dry. There's a few places that still need a little bit working. What I'm going to do really quick though is I want to make sure that this doesn't peel or chip off. So I'm going to seal it, the outer part, with some Mod Podge as well. And if anyone wants to like put their Mod Podge in a bottle, or I have seen some people put paint, I can share the link for this as well. They have it on Amazon, and you can get like a set of 6 of those bottles for a very reasonable price. So I can put that link on here as well at some point. I am working on a link tree so that I can, put the stuff that we normally use from like Amazon in a list, so you can just, go find it there. But I haven't done it quite yet. Well, I started it, but I haven't finished it yet. Okay. You can also get a bunch of those sponges and the pouncers from Amazon for very reasonable too. Okay, so let's get that dried. So we have Telegram um, for notifications. So if you go to our page, um, it's listed at the top in the future section. You can also future section. If you can also though scroll down and when you scroll down, you'll find you have to go through a couple of lives, but you'll also find where I posted it. Um, and I can always repost it too. But on there, you'll also be able to find our link to Instagram, Pinterest, and then YouTube. If you need to contact us, you can do it by email or text or email or messenger. The email address is also posted. I'm dropping things. Um, right now, I don't have the link tree actually set up fully, but I will get it set up. But in the meantime, I don't even know how to find or I'm not sure how to find it. Let me see. Out more. Okay, clearly you can't find it through there. So let me just really quick. Okay, so the group or the crafting group is called Crafting Cousins Creations Craft Sharing Group. And I will post this on our page as well, but the link I just posted is for our group. So if you all you have to do is click on it and then join, or I can't remember what you have to hit, but and then all I have to do is go in and approve it. I have it set up to where I have to approve it because I want to make sure that we're not getting like any scammers in there or anything. I will find the link to the bottles and I can post it on here. I can actually post it directly to our page. And then that way anyone who wants it can find it. I don't think I have it easily to where I can find it right now. You want it? Okay, hold on. Okay, get back here. While that page loads, I am going to take some nautical rope. That is Bindi, if you heard the barking. Little white snoodle. Who's being ornery, apparently. And we're going to take this and we're going to go around it. Right count. think. And if anyone wants any links to, for now until I get that up, if anyone wants any links to like the glue tool I'm using or either one or anything that you see me using, if you want a link to that, just send me a message or post it in like the comments and I can post the link, at least until I get that actually up. And even after I get that up, if you still have a hard time finding something, just send us a message or post it on any of our lives. Usually I try to, anytime there's a comment, it tells me and I review them. I have 2 different glue tools. Because that other one does more of a thinner, fine tip. And this one here doesn't. Where did it go? I made policy says. This I can post to. Also comes from Amazon. This is honey colored glue sticks. Now, if you have like a cheap glue tool, it's only the only size I've found is for the bigger ones, the bigger glue tools, the full size ones. So I have another one, but it's at my cousin's house, that we have specifically for this. But you can take your scissors, and I kind of know about how much I want. I'm not using it the second, but I'm just getting it ready. And my glue stick is pretty close to being done. I know you've probably never seen anyone do this before, but I'm getting rid of the little part that I have, putting this little piece in, and then that way I can use up that to get to the other. Ideally, you're better off having a separate one, and then that way you can leave it in there and you don't have to do that. But if you don't have one, that's a great alternative. You can find glue sticks in so many different colors. My brother's aggravating the dog. But you can find it in so many different colors. What happened to what? It's a glue stick. Oh, I'm sorry you're in pain. That's never fun dealing with pain. I know I have inflammation in my knee that comes and goes due to an autoimmune issue, and it can get bad where I can't even really move it. Even sitting here, it can get painful sometimes, but I'll look up. I know I had some other messages or comments, I mean. Oh, the glue. It's basically just hot glue. It's just um it's just in a honey color. And then that way you don't have to paint it. Oh, yeah, no. I was just trying to get it to where I can use the other one. I don't know why, but this part here on this one keeps wanting to come off. It's irritating. But yeah, I have both here. This one here has some fuzz on it, but it's has that little fine tip, and so that's helpful. Oh, I can't switch. So anyone who sees this one here is technically wireless or cordless for up to 2 minutes. So you can plug it in and get it all heated up, and then if you need to unplug it, it will stay unplugged for up to 2 minutes. It also has a high and a low heat temperature change, which is helpful for when you are doing like foam or something along those lines. Um, I have, let's see. Oh my goodness. I ran out of my nose spray and my nose is just so plugged. Okay, I need some glue box. Honestly, Sandra, nose and sinus issues is just an everyday thing for me. It doesn't ever go away. It's constantly there. Um, Technically, I need to have like some procedure done to my nose because the one side I can't hardly smell out of ever. Um, it never gets better. Boy, that's a big change in price. My goodness. I was trying to see if I could quickly find that. I'll have to just post the link later, but just saw the link, or I just saw the. It's not all of them. There's more than that bookmarked, or not bookmarked, but saved. Huh? I don't know what happened. That's weird. Anyways, well that doubled. So earlier I showed a big bottle of Mod Podge that I bought. well, my brother bought it for me, for my birthday, but my cousin bought some too. I found it on there, and it was like 20 some dollars, I think. I want to say it was like 20 something or 30 at the most. And now it's 47.47. So yeah, that's gone way up in price. Probably not good. Bookmarked some or saved so many things on here. Okay, I must not have even saved that one. I will find it later and I will post it. Um and right now it looks like they're out of that glue that I bought, the hot glue, so once I see it back in, I will or find one similar, I will post it. Basically it's like a yellow is what it is. So you should be able to tell because you'll be able to kind of see through it, and that's the kind that you want. You don't want one that's like a solid color because it's just going to be kind of that way. But not sure why. Well, you might need it for something. They do have black too. But you can get glue sticks in any color. That's what I was talking about, Sandra. Or not Sandra, Cheryl. This big bottle of Mod Podge. That is what I was talking about. That's one up. Okay. I can put these away then. Okay. I just laid my arm on that and something is still wet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside for a minute and we're going to work on the beads really quick. There's my yellow. No clue what that was, but oh my, shoot. Oh, it wasn't even my cut that did that time. I was where I had my surgery. I can put the link for this too. It's a jar opener type thing. It helps me get these open when they're like glued shut. And I did see that link on there, so I can post that link too. But it comes in handy. It has the different ones, so you can do something as small as that and as large as up here. Comes in handy. Don't remember what this top part's for, but okay. So we've got white Waverly chalk paint, maize Waverly chalk paint, and the color ink in the Waverly chalk paint. Okay. I am just kind of drawing out. Hi, Veronica. You don't have to do that, but that's just kind of what I'm doing to make sure I get it how I want it. Okay, so I'm going to need 3. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Oh, maybe that one. Okay, what's up? I don't normally take that out. Okay. It's not only because I'm hitting. I have okay, hold on a second. Where did my papers go? Oh, that's okay. I'll use a different one. These, I didn't even realize I had in there. Okay. Out of my way now. So, I think I'm going to start with the white. So I am just painting these bees, or the bees' wings. I'm starting with painting it white. What are you doing, Callie? There is a method to why I'm doing this way. If I don't like it, I'll just paint it all black. Okay. That's all I need that for. Hmm. Darn it. I had it ready. I clearly wasn't thinking. Okay. So all I did with the pencil was I was drawing out the outline of, I didn't really do the lines like to be, but basically what I'm doing is yeah, prices that have been going up are sometimes really outrageous for some of the things. What I'm trying to do here is I'm doing it this way because I'm going to do black around the outline, and then I was trying to make like the designs of wings, but we'll see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, I'll just paint white over the top of, or black over the top of the whole part. Okay, that's almost right. I guess because I did it so thin. So I just did a thin coat on it because I don't really need it to be a thick white part. So let's work on. Let's work on the yellow really quick. After I fix my brush. I don't know why, but it had some pieces that were like way longer than the others. Okay. Okay. Not exactly even, but doesn't really matter. That's just for my benefit. So I know how I'm doing it. So I'm just going in here with the color Maze in the Antique Wax. If I don't get it exactly in the lines, that's fine. Like I said, the lines are just there for me. That's why I did it in pencil. So the black is the one that I'm going to be more precise on about staying where I want it, since I can paint over the yellow, and it will need more than one coat here. Okay, clear that real quick. Okay, set that one aside, and then we'll finish up this one. And this will be the last thing that we have to actually paint. Unless I decide to paint the bee or the farm fresh sign thing. Yellow typically, what I should have done was to painted the entire bee white. And then I would have only had to do one coat probably of yellow, but since it's on something so pale or tan colored, then I need it. Okay. Try that one really quick. And then we'll move on to the next one. Not entirely sure how I got pink on that bottle, since I have not used pink with it. Pink and yellow together, I don't think. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the head. Callie, you're fine. Anytime the dog makes noises, I have to check her because she has seizures, so I have to make sure she's not having a seizure when she's making a weird noise. Just disgusts me when how people can be so mean to dogs. That's the reason she has the problem she has, is because they said that the people we got her from must have dropped her or hit her in the head or something before we got her. Because they checked her seizures are caused by trauma. And she never fell or anything like that around since we've had her, so they said then that would mean that it happened before we got her. Slowly they get worse, but she's stable at the moment. As long as she doesn't spit her pill out, she's stable. My goodness, puppy, you need to make your mind up. You're either up or down. On your little fart. I'm gonna dry that so I don't have my hands all messy. But so far, that's what her little bead looks like. Thank you, Terry. You okay? Sit still. Yeah, she's a little helper. What? Don't you jump, no, Ben, or Cal. Callie, wait. Patience. So something like that was what I was thinking of doing for the wing. Okay, sounds good, Terry. What? What? Stop it. She gets jealous of me doing something. And so does Bindi. Bindi will actually lay on my phone sometimes if I'm paying too much attention to my phone and not enough attention to her. But yeah, this little fart, she thinks she is the boss of everyone, and she'll lay next to me on my knee like that when I'm eating. And if one of the other dogs looks at my plate, then she will start getting all uppity and bossy. And or if one of the other dogs looks at her, or a cat, she'll get grumpy. So do you think that looks okay with the wings, or do you think I should just paint them all black? I'll hold that up there a little bit longer. I will go ahead and Sister Callie Marie. I forgot when Sandra was on from well, watch out. There you go. From Country Family Roots. She was when she was doing her craft, she was saying her middle name was Marie, and I was trying to comment, but it kept booting me out. Actually, every time Cheryl would respond to a comment I posted, it booted me for some reason. It's like it was booting me to show me the comment or something weird. But I was gonna tell her, well, my middle name's Marie too. So is my cousin's. And that was my mom's middle name too. That's her. Yeah, Callie is a Shih Tzu and Chihuahua mix, and years ago, before we got Bindi, well, Bindi belonged to a friend of mine before she passed, but before Bindi was even born, and before I even had Callie, I had a plain Shih Tzu um, named Samantha, and boy, she was just like Callie. She had that little personality. I kind of just called it the little Shih Tzu attitude. Um, she actually, after we got Callie, Samantha would chase Callie away from the dog food and the water. She mainly the dog food. She wanted to be the boss over Callie, and Callie had a bossy personality too. But Samantha would just stand over it, just so Callie can't have it. So now that's what Callie does to Bindi. Um, so Bindi has her own little bowl that sits between the couch and the recliner on the table there. And so when I'm sitting in there, she eats her food. But that's the only way she gets her food is because Callie's being ornery and being the boss. But when we had Callie and Samantha together, it's like their personalities clashed because they were so much alike and they both wanted to be the boss. And it's like there could only be one boss. And each thought it was going to be them. And so that was interesting. Yeah, that's true. It's funny. My Shih Tzu had a really good personality, but ornery as could be. Her bowl would go get empty, her food sometimes, or her water, and um, we actually had it in the living room, and my brother's computer was in the living room, and she would actually, um, Samantha would pick up the dog dish and sit it next to his feet and bark at him until he got up and got her food or water. It was just so hilarious. Now, Callie, she won't pick it up, but she will stand in there. If her water dish is empty, she will stand in there and she will paw at the water dish until she gets someone's attention. Which is probably better than Bindi, because Bindi, when she wants attention, she squeals. I mean, squeals. They are like little kids. Actually, you know what? I don't remember which craft I was making, but if you go back and look through our crafts, it'd be one with just me, not with my cousin. Um, it would be on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, one or the other, because my brother was at work. And they both kept, all three of them were coming in here wanting picked up. Well, I managed to get all three of them up on my lap. And the two started fighting. Bella and Callie started fighting on my lap, growling at each other while I was live. It was like, oh my gosh, seriously? They're always, you know, almost like arguing like siblings, but of course they had to do that while I was live. Animals are weird. Very, very weird. But they're entertaining. Callie here hates cats. Completely hates them. One cat swatted her in the butt when she was younger, and oh my gosh, that was the end of that. She hated him ever since. And the funny thing is I had a big black cat and a big gray cat, both long haired, and they were both sitting on the bed at the same time. And Callie had her back to him, and Pablo, he was just sitting there minding his own business. And Midnight, my black cat, she went and walked over to Callie, swatted her on the butt, and then she ran. Well, when she turned around, all she saw was um, Pablo on the bed. And so she just assumed it was Pablo. So she ran over to Pablo and she bit him. And then she kind of hated his guts, well, actually for the rest of his life. But because he had to get put to sleep a few years ago. But she hated him that entire time. She just never started liking him again. But it was just weird. Hi, Tammy. Animals are just strange, completely strange. You kind of never know what to expect from them, honestly. Like Bella, she's allergic to bees. She actually got stung by a bee once and couldn't hold her head up. They had to take her to the vet. Actually, um, that day that happened, we had just gotten home from the vet because I walked into my bedroom. Well, I went to go walk into my bedroom. I tried to open my bedroom door and I couldn't. Something was blocking it. And there was a gap under my door, um, probably about that big, a couple inches. And I was able to look under it, and I saw my cat. Um, at the time, he was only 2.5 years old. He was just laying there and he couldn't move. And so I reached under the door and I moved him. And I moved him so I could get the door open. He couldn't hold his head up. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't even hold his eyes open hardly. And so we grabbed him. We called the vet. They said bring him in immediately. We were on our way, and we were just about a minute away, and he passed away. So we brought him. I mean, we were already there, so we had them just, take his body and everything. And he, we got home. Second, we walked in the door. Bella squealed and dropped to the ground. Couldn't hold her head up, couldn't keep her eyes open. And then I saw this bee down there, and I killed it. And then I didn't know it was a bee because it was black, completely black. And I put it in a baggie so we could take it, so we could show them, what did that. And they said, oh yeah, that's a bee. And we got there, and her eyes were getting kind of swollen and everything. And then he gave her like a shot in the butt, and then he was starting to do the shot in the vein, and she was coming out of it. And gosh, she started to try and pull the sticking needle out of her. He did it kind of in her leg, and she was trying to pull the needle out while he was trying to give her the shot. And my mom and I were trying to hold her down, and it was, oh my goodness, it was not something I ever have soon. And so, she's an inside dog. She goes on a paper, and so we keep her inside. She's never outside without us. Sometimes, I'll take her on a leash or something, but they told me, they're like, okay, it's not like a person. They don't usually have worse reactions the next time. Usually it will be the same or a little less or something, he said. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't go to that vet anymore because I didn't like what they were doing. But goodness, I've got black paint all over me. I didn't get that side. She ended up being got in the house somehow again. And she ended up, this time she didn't get stung though. I don't know how. But Callie, the one behind me, she got stung. And it didn't bother her, but Bella heard her yip and immediately went over. They're only a year apart, but she immediately went over, and she always thinks she has to protect her. And she went over there and she started digging and pawing at the bee until she had actually, killed it. But she just, even though she's terrified of him, because she'll squeal and cry when she hears one near her. But Callie, behave. But for some reason, she decided she was going to protect that puppy. It's funny. Dogs are so weird. But yeah, that wasn't a pleasant day. I can tell you that much. It's hard when you lose an animal. It really is. It's like we have them a long time, and we know they can't live forever, but hey, what are you doing, little shrimp? Stop that. You're gonna fall and you're gonna hurt yourself. Hey, stubborn little fart. Behave. Manners. I don't think she has any. Okay. I have to go back over on that part with yellow. Okay, get down. This one here, when she gets stubborn, she gets stubborn. It is her way or no way. I might be able to get that off. There we go. I just didn't want to go quite so far over the yellow, but that works. You know, that dog thinks that she's like, you won't let me fall. She just unconditionally trusts that we will not drop her. And sometimes she will make these growling noises like she is seriously saying mama. It actually sounds like it's so hilarious. My plain Shih Tzu used to do that too. They both. It just is so weird, the noises they'll make. Minnie just squeals, but now Bindi, the white one, she just is like, oh, no one's gonna cheat me out any food. If she thinks that she didn't get her fair share, she'll tell you loudly. He's probably in there teasing her. She's barking. Okay, I don't want to get any black on anything. That's why I'm wiping that up. So, for anyone who just popped on or popped on after I had started doing the bees, we have this. That is burlap that came from Dollar Tree with the nautical rope also came from Dollar Tree and the pizza pan. The only thing that didn't was this, which was just one of the beehives. And so what we're going to do is we're going to attach the beehive onto here, and then we're going to attach the bees somewhere. And then I have some other little bees that I can add to. And I do have some greenery. And then we'll see if I put a bow on or not. I don't know. I haven't thought that far. You know, yeah, I know how you mean. I came across, because I saved it, I came across my Shih Tzu's collar too, not that long ago, and I had a hard time. She was 16 years old when she passed or had to go to sleep, and that was not an easy thing. That's for darn sure. I had that dog for almost 16 years, and I got her, I think, when I was like 8 maybe or 9 when I got Samantha, and so we grew up together. So we've got a little holes up here that I put in, and then I think I'm going to put a piece of black something over the back here, so there's a black hole there. And then I do have this, which I don't think I'm going to use the stained ones because it doesn't stand out that much. So I'll either paint it. I could paint a cashew. That would work. I think I will. I think I'll paint that cashew. But I kind of wanted to just put And I don't know, once I get it on there, I might not use it, but I was thinking of just doing like farm fresh or whatever. Farm fresh honey, basically, but something like that maybe. Or, I mean, I could do a little welcome. I have one of those too. That came, I think, in that set too from Dollar Tree. I don't see it in there, but so those are all happy birthday. Okay. I wish I knew where these came from. I think Hobby Lobby. Because there are some words that you don't normally find. There's like hello, hope is one that you don't normally find. Coffee, and they're a nice size, like not huge. Gather, blessed, gather, love, welcome family. Okay, get these back, put away. I really want to now look for something to do with coffee. To make a coffee sign, because I have one that says coffee. I would love to do that. I didn't even realize what words were in this. But they all came together in a thing from, I believe it was Hobby Lobby. In the wood section, not in the other spots. So, I haven't been to Hobby Lobby in quite a while, it seems. Okay. I need black. Oh, my goodness. What's going to be the easiest way to do that? Ooh, I see. I do not like this chair. There we go. Just a sec. I don't really have a huge face, but that is not black. That's blue. That's black. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to be using much of it, so I don't really care what it is. But this is actually the fake leather from Dollar Tree. I couldn't think. Okay. I just need a tiny piece. And actually, I could have just used, I don't have any black fabric, but I could have used a piece of scrapbook paper too, but I didn't want to have to put it there. So for this, all I'm going to do that one doesn't like the stains. Uh-oh. There's a clog. It like did a weird it started to melt like part of it, but not all of it. I don't know. That was weird. Okay. And then what I will do is just trim the extra. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see it. And that burlap, or not burlap, that leather comes in several colors. It comes in white, brown, navy. And it's with their vinyl. Sometimes you can find it and sometimes you can't. It just depends. Okay. So I do have Welcome and I have Farm Fresh. Where are my bees at? Okay. So I can put it off to the side. Put it here. And I do have so I have a bigger Welcome. That we could kind of do maybe like that. Or like Farm Fresh. And then what I was thinking is Farm Fresh, and I have a honey dipper that I can put honey on and put it like down here. That's why I was kind of thinking Farm Fresh. And then maybe that and just a bow. Or I could put that towards the top. Like that, like that. Definitely want to do a honey dipper. Like the honey dippers. These you can get from Amazon or Temu. Either one works. So we will only need 2 of these. And I need to make sure I put it on the right side. So we're just going to glue our Jenga block up here. And another one right over here. And that makes that very stable. So I think this Farm Fresh kind of just blends in. So I think I will paint this really quick. But before I do that, and my honey colors on here already. Okay, just pushing a little pressure. Then we're gonna go ahead and I want to glue. Now, while I am having this, while I have this glue in here, I'm going to just go ahead and go around the glue, or go around the honey dipper with the glue. And it makes it look like you have honey on the dipper. And if it's, you can hold it and it will start dripping, and then you can kind of get dripping in the way you want it. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay. And we'll add our other bee really quick. Or I'll wait a minute. So far, that's what we have. I think probably. Well, they don't both have. They both don't have to be there. I'm gonna. Whoops. Okay. They don't both have to be on the hive. We'll see here. I'm gonna set this aside really quick. Okay, I'm like, where the heck did I put it? I just had it. Okay. Won't take too much longer. I know I've been on here a while. Quite a while, actually. But that's okay. I knew this one was going to take longer, and I knew if I didn't prep some of the stuff that I prepped, that it was going to take even longer than that, so. I'll probably try and come on tomorrow and do a quick one because I want to try to do something like within the time frame that I'm going to have Saturday or Sunday, I mean, because I have my first event Sunday. I'll share the link again. It's hosted by She's Crafty USA, Jennifer, and Sandra from Country Family Roots and Cheryl from Cheryl's Farmhouse DIY will be doing it as well. I think there's one other crafter before Sandra, and then Sandra goes, and then I go. And the theme is red, white, and blue, which I love making patriotic cards. And actually, I think what I will make tomorrow will be a patriotic craft. I know exactly what to make. I just kind of wanted to practice, watching that clock and paying attention to how long I'm on. Usually I just craft and I don't care. So by painting this, I mean, it's not going to be a whole lot different from just doing it plain colored, but I want to kind of distress the edges a little bit. You're okay, Cal. I actually had this planned to do with my cousin, and then she was busy, and so I thought, well, I still want to go ahead and do this one. Honestly, sometimes you don't realize how long you're actually alive because just having fun crafting. Now what I'm going to do is once I get this dried, I'm going to just go around the edges with a little of the antique wax. Oh, hi, Sandra. Yeah, I'm still alive. I was a little slow. Okay. I'm getting close to the end, though. I don't have much more to do. Just get this. These came from Dollar Tree, right? I was thinking they did. That is true. Yeah, Sandra, we're both kind of that way, and sometimes Cheryl is too. But we're going to have to be quick on Sunday. We don't have unlimited time on Sunday. But I have been doing some prepping. So some of the things that would take longer to do, I've already actually finished that part. So I'm actually using one of the napkins that you sent me for my craft on Sunday. Oh, it was a dog one. This is one of those words that has like a lot of grooves. So it is a little more time consuming to paint. You know what? I've never been in TJ Maxx. The closest one to me is like an hour and a half away. But I have never actually been in one. I've been, in that town where it's at. I just never went into a TJ Maxx though. I'll have to one of these days. What do they even have in there? I mean, is it kind of like Walmart or Target? I saw one day Cheryl posted, or did a live, and after she got home from there and showed some napkins that she got. Yeah, Hobby Lobby, I do get some from, and of course Dollar Tree and Dollar General sometimes, but um, I think we have a Ross, but I don't go in much. I've never been in a Kohl's either, but I've bought stuff online from them. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I guess that's going to be where it's. Oh my god. That's not very stable. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Over crying out loud. Oh my gosh. Oh, for crying out loud. The things that happen. So, this is hot glue that looks like honey. And so I just happened to, I accidentally sat it there and I didn't realize it and wanted to stick to it. I didn't want it there. That was funny. That was very funny. But yeah, so far that's what we have. And then I still have another bee that I don't know if I'll put here or somewhere else. And then I have this Farm Fresh that's going to go somewhere up here. But I still want to distress it really quick with antique wax. Looks like I'm going to have to open up a new one soon because my antique wax is getting really down there low. Where did my baby one go? Darn it. Well, that's too baby, I think. Maybe it'll work. You can get a set of these at Walmart. It comes with these, and then I think there's one more. Seems like there's another. Yeah, there is. There's another size between this one and this one. But it comes with all 5 of them at Walmart, and they're pretty inexpensive. And they're nice size ones. They don't fall apart. Sometimes, like the Dollar Tree one will sometimes want to come off. They don't do that. Are you chewing your toenails, Callie? So I'm just going around the edge to distress it a little. I like this one for the smaller things. I kind of left some of my stuff that I have from like fall and stuff like that was before I got it before I started crafting more and actually crafting and not just like making cards. And so I thought, well, okay, this is fall, so I'll put it away. I didn't think about what are the out of all these, there might be something there that I can use for another season. So definitely keep that in mind if you have to like store some of your stuff away for different holidays. When you're putting them away, just keep in mind, oh, hey, can I use this for another holiday? Because I wish I would not have stored away some of the things that I stored. And it's like, I don't want to dig it all out just to get to that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of distress it, and then I don't really mind if it's a little brushed in. I know you probably haven't seen me do that before, but if you just kind of rub over the top of it afterwards, yeah, you're going to get your hands dirty, but it does a softer distressing, and I don't even know if you can see it on camera, but it does a softer distressing. You'll see it when I post the picture of it. Oh, there it is. The other thing. Okay, get rid of that. Get rid of that. I need to clean that lid off. It's filthy. Okay. There's my other bee. Now, the only thing is, I'm wondering is if it needs a bow. I know I just have my lid on. Hi, you're on it. Well, you're on some of it. Oh, there it is. Ow! Wires hurt. That's another burlap that they have at Dollar Tree. And then they have this one. And then they have a star one too. Poking myself with some of the ribbon, like the wired ribbon. Okay, so this one and this one came from Dollar Tree. That came from Walmart. These came from Temu. These both came from Hobby Lobby, along with this one. I think Walmart. No, this one came from Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby. I've been taking them off of the spools because they save up room. And then this is just a fabric that I got at some point that I am not sure if I'm going to use yet. Have not decided. Trying to decide on what kind of a bow I want here. If I want a plain bow, if I want like a messy bow. I don't use it for this, I can use it for something else. So I could do that, or I could do a messy bow instead. I could still put like another bow in the middle, but I'm trying to decide between doing a bow like this and then doing another smaller one in the middle, or doing a just doing a messy bow. So if I do this one, I wonder, is that what I cut up? What did I pull apart? I don't know. I did it while Sandra was live. And where on earth wasn't the ladybug? I need to organize my like burlap and stuff because I know I did. I just don't know what I did with it. Isn't that how it goes? Oh. Okay, well, I'm clearly not finding it, so that's okay. I can use this one and do another one with it. Thank you, Sandra. Thanks for stopping in. Are you going live tomorrow? I don't know what material that is, but boy, that's hard to push in. Okay, so I kind of was wanting another thing with it, at least. That's too small. I wish I could find what I wanted. I wonder. Doesn't hurt to try. We'll see what it looks like. I don't know what I should make. Probably not going. I may not leave it this way, but just to see, I want to. I've never mixed fabric with regular ribbon before, so I'm not sure if I like it. Do that, or I could just do that, another small one like that. Not sure if I like that or not. But while I'm thinking, let me drop everything quietly. Let me get that glued on while I'm thinking about that. I might just do another little bow with it. Okay, that's clogged for some reason, so let's just go with this. Hold on, Cal. This is probably better anyways because the hot glue sometimes will dry before you can put it on. Okay, put the lid on. And we're going to go ahead and any glue that seeps out will dry clear. I'll probably just use some brown stained beads for a hanger. Okay, I can't decide. So, what do you guys think about that ribbon with it? Think it looks cute, or think I should just take it out? Hi, Susan. That's okay. We're towards the end, but there's always the replay too. But so far, this is what we've done. And I'm working on this bow. And I'm debating whether to use that material, this fabric here with the beehives on it with it or not. Not quite sure if it looks like it goes with it. had another ribbon, and I don't know what on earth I did with it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm not going to worry about rolling that back up right now because I don't want to deal with it, but let me stick this in here really quick. Because I want to see what it looks like with this. So we're going to put our ribbon or our string back in really quick. And we're just going to shove that back in. There is always a messy bow, so I could try that and see. Just curious how this looked. Where to? I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on making bows like this. Okay, that one is wanting to be a pain in the butt. Okay, so why don't I just do it this way? I can always fix it when I... Don't want to trim the tails of the last one until I'm sure I want it this way. But what do you guys think of that? Yes, no, take it out. This doesn't look bad. If it was all trimmed. Okay, let me tie this so I can get... I need to practice doing these ones here a little more. And we will trim that a little bit. Okay. That out of the way. And I will need to trim those a little more. And I will go through, and if I missed any comments, I will respond. I'll go through and I will post the link for the bottle here that I have for the Mod Podge. I'll post the link for that. Okay, that's looking better. I just was looking at it and it was the edges or the ends were just not finished up, so it was just looking a little weird to me. But once you kind of fiddle with it, you can kind of get it to looking better. Okay, so okay. I used a different brand of glue sticks, and it seems like ever since I did, there must be some of it maybe stuck or I keep coming up and using some of it because it wants to clog and it is kind of a pain. Right now I'm kind of at the end of the yellow. And so if I do get a little yellow, that's fine because it will just look like honey. Now for the middle, I can do one of two things. For the middle, I can use this little bee. Or I can use a button. It would have to be a black button because I don't know where my other ones are. I don't really have a huge selection of buttons. Let's try that and see. Okay, that's with a button. And then that's with the bee. Kind of leaning maybe towards the bee. But then maybe not since there's bees all over it. Still have to do some twisting with the fabric, but I can do that afterwards. The bee, that's kind of what I was leaning towards as well. So let's get that attached. And these bees came from Amazon. I think it was 100 bees. And they come in different sizes. And then I got some ladybugs too. And they also come in different sizes for the ladybugs. So I can, if anyone wants any of those links, I can also share those. Those little cases I got from, what's it called? I can't think. Dollar Tree. Really quick. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I do still have to add that other bee somewhere. This is a bead threader that I got from Amazon. They had a heart at the end, but I cut the heart off so that I could, basically you put your string through here if you haven't used one before. Then you can add your beads at the top and pull it through. Now, usually you would put it through this way if the heart's on there, but with the heart off, you can just keep putting them on there and you don't have to keep putting the thread in and out. So it makes it a lot easier. Just make sure to keep a hold of the other end because you'll end up losing your beads through the other end. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely get the link for you. I will post it right under your comment as soon as I get off. If I don't, then I will not remember. beads rolling around. And make sure that you do an even number of beads for it to hang, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay, I'll try that. Now, these beads here came from Dollar Tree. Mine just got this color in stock. They also have a darker wood one. So with this one here, I am just going to put it through the hole through the front. Because I want the beads to be at the top here and to not hang towards the back. So what we're going to do is just tie the knot right up here. Right at the very top. We can go slide it around to the back a little, that's fine. And then we'll just do another knot really quick. Then I can pull that down. Go to the other side. Leave enough room so you have a little bit of rope there to hang your craft up with. Don't really need too much. And we're going to tie this. Tying this side is always the hardest. To get it where you want it. Somehow I got that one. I must have twisted twice because I did get a knot, so it's not going to do it exactly like I wanted, but I can make it. I have just a little more space between my beads than I initially wanted, but you know, I kind of like it actually, now that I did that. Oh, wait, one more bow, or one more bead. Okay, let me see. Like it there. I don't quit dropping things. Boy, today is my drop everything day. Okay. Oh. Trim off your strings in the back, and you can put a little hot glue back here to keep it in place if you want it, and to make sure that it doesn't come untied at all. But that's how it turned out. And then if you wanted to kind of make this not look so silvery, I mean, I honestly don't know if someone would actually guess that's a pizza pan, but you could always paint this cashew. But that's how it turned out. Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to be on here that long. But thank you for joining me and supporting us. We definitely appreciate it. When I get off, I'll probably trim that a little, but I like how it worked. If you aren't signed up for Telegram, we have our Telegram, and the link is posted on our page. It's the best way to make sure that you do get, if we do need to reach out to you, like when Facebook, that one time when Facebook wasn't working at all, if you have Telegram set up, then we can send you notifications saying, oh, hey, we're going live on this other platform or something along those lines. And at some point I will be, I'm not going to like go off of Facebook, but I'll be going live on both Facebook and YouTube. So and same with Sandra with Country Family Roots and Cheryl with Cheryl's Farmhouse DIY. We're all going to be in the process of setting up our YouTube page or whatever channel, I guess is what it's called, and get that going and that growing. And then we'll go live on both. And we'll post videos. Like if we go live on YouTube, we'll just download that video and post it on Facebook. But we kind of wanted to go live on both and grow both at the same time. But thank you so much for joining me. I will most likely be on live tomorrow sometime to do a quick patriotic craft, and then I don't know about Saturday or not. I might try and come live Saturday, but then Sunday morning, let me double check the time really quick before I tell you a time that's not really the time. Okay, so the event on Sunday is a red, white, and blue event hosted by She's Crafty USA. The event starts at 8 a.m. Everyone has 45 minutes to create a patriotic craft. It ends at 10:15 Central Standard Time with She's Crafty USA. And then I come on. I'm the third one to come on, so I'm on at 9:30, from 9:30 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. Central Standard Time. And then Sandra's before me, and then Cheryl's later on down the line. I think 12:30 is hers. But I will be sharing theirs on my page as well, their flyer. So definitely keep an eye out for that. We definitely would appreciate it if you'd come, comment, whatever. If you can't be there when we're live, definitely watch the replays. And I'll get all those links posted, and I'll get the Linktree thing up and running and all that. And then we will be, I've been trying to work on getting the crafts posted for sale. I tried Marketplace, but it seems like it's like filled with scammers who are, even Facebook caught it and blocked them. So I think I'm just going to do it probably the way that Crafting with Me does it. So there's an album called Sale in our photos, and I'll just list the crafts for sale in there with a price. And then if you're interested, just message us. I'll make sure that the message thing is on there. And then if you see us make a craft and you're interested in buying that craft, feel free to just send us a message, and we're happy to let you know the price and do it that way as well. I hope everyone has a good evening, and I will see you sometime tomorrow. Good night.